Howdy guys, welcome back to Deal by Deal episode 16. The year is 2013 and this is a fun one. We got to pick up a house and move it to a new location. Unlike a lot of the projects we do, this was not a mobile home. So I found this deal on Craigslist and it needed to be moved because they needed to utilize the lot for something else. It was actually a church that was selling this property and they weren't asking very much for it because if nobody took it, they were just going to have to demo it, which would have cost maybe $10,000. And the cost to move a house like this is pretty expensive. So the house was only 600 or 700 square foot, but I was able to negotiate a price on this house, I think, if I remember right, of $2,000 to purchase this house. They gave me a few months to move it because of course I had to find a place to put it. So I needed to find a lot and put a well and a septic and get it all ready to move this house. So I had a few months to do it or I'd forfeit my money, and they'd end up having to demo it because they really did need the lot. So one of the first things I did was called around and found a moving company that could move the house. So actually pick up the house, cut it off the foundation, put it on a trailer, get all the permits, and take it, I think, about 40 miles to where we were going. And we didn't know exactly where we were going, but the moving companies are, they'll give you a price that's going to be good for anywhere within an hour or so of there, because most of the work is picking it up and putting it back down and not the actual drive time. So I had a price quote that I was given for $8,000 to move this home, and so I worked that into the price that we were purchasing the house for, and I went and looked and found a lot to put it on. So it took me a little while to find the lot, but we did find one that had been leveled, I believe, already at the time that we bought it. The guy who was selling it had a construction company, a dirt work company, and so we negotiated into the deal to have them install a septic, since they could do that for cheaper than for us to go hire someone else to do it. And if I remember right, it was about $25,000 for the lot and the septic install, and it already had the driveway in and was nice and level, a good type of lot to move a house onto, no hills or major obstructions. So then we also had to get a well in and get the well line over where the house was going to be, so that the house could just be placed and ready to go. So all that took time, both finding the lot, purchasing it, getting it ready for the house to be moved there, and we had a timeline to get the house there. And so when we first were looking at this property, I think it was in the spring or maybe late winter, and by the time we were ready to move this, it was later summer or maybe fall. And so we called the house moving company that had originally given us a quote for $8,000 to move this house. Well, several months later, they told us, nope, too late, we're booked until next year. So as you can imagine, there's not a lot of companies who are qualified to pick up a house and move it. Remember, this is not a mobile home. This is a stick-built house sitting on a foundation. It needs cut off the foundation, lift it up, put on a trailer. This is not the type of thing that a lot of companies are qualified to do. You gotta have a well-trained staff, all the right equipment, and insurance and all that stuff to move a property like this. And so there's only a few of them in our area, and none of them were either able to move it or basically available. They were all booked up until the following year. Surprising how much business there is for moving structures, like actual picking up buildings and moving them, but all the companies around here that could do it were booked for a long time, and we had the deadline to get that moved. So I was calling all of them like twice a week, seeing if they had any openings or anything canceled. And finally, the one guy who originally gave me the quote for $8,000, he's like, well, I can move it tomorrow if you're ready. And I said, sure. And he said, that'll be $12,500. And I was like, you gave me a quote of $8,000 a few months ago. And he's like, yeah, that's before I'm super busy, but I'll be working my guys, on the 7 days a week and overtime. He's like, do you want it or not? Because I can be there tonight and prep it and move it tomorrow or whatever. So didn't really have a choice. We were already, $30,000 into the lot and the property. So we said we'd do it, and we went ahead and paid, and he went and picked up the house and moved it out to its new location. So it was actually pretty cool to see him just pick up a house and move it. Because we were on a budget and a time budget, we didn't want to put a full foundation under this property. Also because the property was older and wasn't a very valuable structure, we just didn't want to put any more money into it than we had to. So we set it up on blocks like we would have if it was a mobile home, even though it wasn't. So we set it up on concrete blocks and treated wood per the instruction of the house movers who do this all the time. We put the vapor barrier down, then we skirted it in with the treated wood, insulated it, got it all ready to go. So once it was in place, we had to finish making sure it was hooked up to the well and septic that we had put in it. We had to bring in the natural gas from the street and the electricity. We had to change the heater because it used a different type of heater, or maybe the one that was there didn't work anymore. And then we did some cosmetic work, like paint inside and outside and flooring. And I think there was a little bit of plumbing to be done. And then we had a nice small 2-bedroom house on a nice big lot in a pretty cool area out in Big Lake. And we put that up for sale on owner financing since it wasn't on a real foundation. We also like to carry the interest on the Tyco style deals that we do on these. So we were into this property for around $50,000, but quite a bit of our own work as well. We were orchestrating a lot of moving parts, trying to get the electricity and the gas and the well and the septic and get the house mover, and it was just a lot going on. So we had a lot of our own labor, time, and actual work into this property, and then about 50,000 actual dollars. And we were able to sell it, I think, for around 95,000, maybe just slightly more. We almost doubled up on it, and then we've carried that now for 10 years. So we've made quite a bit of money in interest in that time as well. So not only did we make the 50,000 give or take in the spread, we also made quite a bit of money in the interest over the years. We did fund this with private money investors, so I've got the video on that as well. But we used private money from 2 different sources to purchase this property and get it all fixed and resold. And then we did end up getting those investors paid back pretty quick. So they made some money there for their investment into the property, but it was a really good investment for us and a really fun investment, because it's not like just moving a mobile home and setting it up. Like this was a real house, and it was pretty cool seeing like a real house on a trailer bouncing down the highway. So it was a fun project. We did really good, made quite a bit of money, and we're still collecting payments on that. It's been 10 years now, or just over 10 years, and we're still getting the monthly payments. They are chipping away at it pretty good. It's almost paid off, but the price of of their mortgage every month is about what rent would have been 10 years ago, and so now it's way cheaper than rent. They're gonna have it paid off. In the meantime, they did do some improvements as well. They replaced the roofing on it, and they built a garage. So it's a great little spot for somebody who may not have been able to get into a house with a bank loan. So love these little owner finance deals. They really make good money, and they really make a difference in the community. If you guys have any real estate needs whatsoever, please reach out. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, share, follow, comment, and you can find me on any of these other places that you enjoy your content. So thanks very much. Really appreciate it.